right now.
Okay, go ahead.
I pasted on the Google chat. Please let me know when you have access.
When do you think that, so we're exploring a lot of different topics, getting the scope of everything. When do you think you're going to be actually like doing more prototyping and things like that? Do you see, what are your thoughts on that? Any thoughts on?
Yes, about the blueberries, I
Mm-hmm.
would say next week I would start doing the first steps. And what I
Mm-hmm.
mean by first week, I'm gonna get a visit of the blueberry advisor, this
Mm-hmm.
guy
Mm-hmm.
from Chile, who I basically consider an expert into blueberry production, and I'm gonna present in person to him all the different topics we discussed about.
Okay.
We discussed about the coir, the pods, the recirculation of water.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna do the talking in the field. I'm gonna get his feedback of how he sees this situation,
Mm-hmm.
and based on his feedback, I'm gonna choose what to do first.
Okay.
That's on the blueberry resistance.
Is that with? He's gonna come visit you.
Basically, yes,
Mm-hmm.
next week.
Okay. Nice.
So for me, that's gonna be the first step to understand what he considers a reality
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
on what's feasible, what's not. And based on that, I'm gonna start building with a 3D printer, printing the pods, the
Mm-hmm.
coir, and the
Yeah.
structure needed. So that's on the blueberry systems.
Yeah.
And on the freeze-dried ingredients, I have to understand first the cost.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And next week too, I'm gonna present to some interested people into this business. After their feedback, I'm gonna decide if this is gonna be on the same time of building or if it's gonna be later.
Yep.
But that's the approach I'm taking now.
Yep. Okay. Thanks for clarifying. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I want to build. I don't just want to talk and ideate. My
Yes.
focus is on build, just to be clear.
Yes. Yes. I think so. I think we're clear about that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So just on the presentation, I understand this is going to be a quick call too, 30 minutes at max,
Mm-hmm.
because you've been working a lot. I have seen the videos and it's going amazing on your
Oh
side.
yeah. Where'd you
Yeah,
see the videos? You're talking. You're looking into the
YouTube.
actual. Okay. YouTube.
You, you have uploaded some videos, correct, on YouTube recently about
Um.
the training you're doing back there.
Oh. Oh. Let's see. Oh, that was just the prep sessions. No, which did somebody else post any videos from the actual build or no?
I don't think I have access yet. And have you uploaded on the Google Drive as well that you
There's
shared?
uploads to Google Drive. Yeah,
Okay, I
that
have
might
seen it on
might
Google
have been
Drive.
there. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
pretty good. I mean, the structure is huge. Wow. But anyway,
yeah,
okay. So I'm in a dock.
I see you now. So going to slide number 5.
Number
That's the
five.
calculation.
Yeah.
So I did some research on the current cost they have here in Obregón, Sonora.
Mm-hmm.
So we have two different variants. One, it's of the agriculture subsidized. We get a fixed cost and we get to spend as much kilowatts as we need with a fixed cost. So the fixed cost on the ag grid, it's basically on US dollars, 0.036.
0.036. Where can you highlight that? 0.036. Where? Oh, there. Point zero. Okay. Cost at grid 0.036. Okay.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
right there.
Yep. Yep.
Uh, Cost of industrial, it's 0.35. That,
You have access to the ag grid.
well, what I meant by ag grid is if you have permits to farm, you have a special tariff, and that special tariff, that's what I call ag grid, which is 0.036 per each kilowatt used.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I meant by ag grid. It's not a different grid, it's just a permit that,
Yeah, but you have access to that, right? You get ag prices or
yes,
industrial.
well, it depends for what I do. For ag prices, it's basically do production of food, but
Mm-hmm.
for processing, that goes into the industrial.
Okay.
That's the difference. We cannot use the ag prices for processing. It's just for farming structure. And I mean by that irrigation mainly. That would be the main use of the ag side.
Okay.
Ag, all the rest, when it comes from packing, processing, uh, cold rooms, that goes into the industrial grid, which is point zero 0.035 per kilowatt. So
I like it.
going into this example, and of course also add the solar cost that we discussed with the open source PV structure, that is zero point zero 0.01 per kilowatt.
Do you believe it after
So
going through the numbers?
I believe it since you told me, and after going to the numbers, I believe it too.
Good.
Yeah, and I saw the information, I saw the website, the videos, and all makes sense. Like the different components
Yeah.
that all make sense. And in the website of Open Source Ecology Wiki, you mentioned the case of Sahara,
Yep.
that they have certain amounts of sun hours.
Yep.
If we go here, where I live in Oregon, Sonora, we have very similar radiation hours.
Ah.
So
Nice.
that makes a lot of sense. Like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
we're comparing apples to apples.
Yeah.
We're not in Africa, but we're in Sonora in the desert. We have very similar radiation. Okay, so on the freeze drying process, there are three main steps. First is the deep freeze, and it's basically lowering the temperature from 30 Celsius to minus 40 Celsius. That
Mm-hmm.
takes about 4.5 kilowatts. Then the vacuum pool, which is basically taking some of the humidity, that takes about 1.5 kilowatts. And then the sublimation, which is basically taking the water through gas form, and that's the final step that takes 17.5 kilowatts. In total, for the process to get the final output of 1 kilogram of powder, of freeze-dried powder of whole fruit, it takes 33.5 kilowatts. So we talk about three structures of price per kilowatt, what I currently have available here.
Mm-hmm.
One is the aggregate, which is 0.036. Other one is the industrial grid, which would be the real one I would be using if I connect to the grid here in my location, which is 0.35 kilowatts. And the other one is creating the open source PV strategy, which takes the kilowatt into an impressive zero point zero 0.01 per kilowatt cost. So doing the three steps mentioned, the deep freeze, the vacuum peel, and the sublimation, taking that 23.5 kilowatts. On the open source cost, that would be 0.24 USD.
Yeah.
On the aggregate, which I cannot use because that would be illegal, would be 0.85. And that's the cheapest of the cheapest I could access. And on the reality, the cost of the industrial grid, that would be 8.23. So if we take the 8.23 per kilogram, that would be the reality if I didn't know you and I wouldn't be working through the open source PB.
Yeah.
8.23 minus 0.24, which is what it will cost doing the open source PB, would be a savings per kilogram of almost $8,
Yep.
7.99, which is a lot.
Yep.
So
How do you
that's
get? Tell me, explain how 10 kilograms go into 1 kilogram of powder. You telling me that grapefruits are only 90% water, so 1/10 of it is solid?
most of it, yes. Of course, during the process, that there could be some losses, but that's the conventional average. If we really focus on being very specific, I understand would be more 7.7 kilograms that would get into 1 kilogram. But I did this average to have I would say, an average, repeating that word, of what most of the fruits could be 10 to 1.
Okay. I'm gonna look real quick. I'm gonna go to chat. I'm having a hard time believing that a grapefruit is 90% water. I would think it would be like 95 to 99% water. Let me see. What
Okay.
percent grapefruit is water? Grapefruit meat is water. So you're telling me it's 90% water and 10%. Oh, you're right. Huh. That's got a lot of solid in there. Sugar is 7 to 9 grams. Fiber acid. Okay, no, done. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
and the reason I'm so confident, if you go to the slide number 3 and
Mm-hmm.
you see the video reference of freeze right where platform and you open, you're
Mm-hmm.
gonna start seeing what I have on my hands. Because I already did this process. I outsourced it here in Mexico with someone who has a freeze dryer, but his conversion was about 8 kilograms fresh to 1 kilogram
¿Qué tal,
of
Lilian?
freeze dried powder. And that's what I show in the video. Just how the powder looks and the different presentations. Presentations is basically the mesh size,
Oh,
and that's what I meant by loss. So if you have mesh size 80 versus mesh size 40, the 80 is going to be bigger, but it's going to take out less pieces than the mesh size 40, which has to be more fine powder, but you lose the bigger pieces. And that's what I meant by loss. So what I'm talking about, I have it on my hands. I trialed this already. I mean, you can see it in the video. How does it look, the fine powder, and what is the real relationship already trial? This is not generated data. It's basically some physical trial already did.
yeah. Is the how's it? You're talking about freeze dried fruit powder so you can make fruit drinks out of it?
Yes, well, there are three markets, and it's basically formulators of food, which they can make drinks, they can make snacks, formulators of
Uh,
supplements, which they can make supplements,
oh,
basically
that's
pills, and cosmetics, which they can make shampoos, creams, etc.
man,
Well,
that is so exciting because we talked about this is the replacement for Coca-Cola. This is the end of Coca-Cola, right?
probably not as a company, just as a drink, because they, of
Yeah.
course, will adapt this into their formulators. I don't see them as, of course, as an enemy. I just see them as a supply chain that they have to integrate better ingredients with less sugar, more nutrition,
Yeah, yeah. So in other words, we're gonna transform them.
give them access to cheaper ingredients because they're so focused on cost. So if they have more accessible cost ingredients, they're going to say, okay, now that sugar has so many tags, it's going to be more convenient to do freeze dried ingredients at certain cost and put them on my drinks. That's how I
Do
see the
you?
supply chain.
Is your perspective that they will do the kind of change you want, or would you actually be starting up enterprise making drinks, like for example, carbonated drinks of grapefruit or whatever fruits? Do you see yourself doing that or no?
I see myself doing that, but if I'm thinking about scale and I'm thinking of honestly making a big change, I see the big supply chains give them access to these ingredients at a cost competitive price and being able to make it faster.
Hmm. I have to think about that. I haven't thought about that. I thought about it in tractors. I didn't think about it in fruit powders or those kinds of industry. I'll think about that and get back to you on that. Uh, my my prejudice is always that distributed enterprise can move faster than the big giants, but I don't know. It depends what kind of time scale we're talking about and what assumptions we're making. Yeah.
Yes, in what I believe, and I'm open to change and learning from you, is being a supply chain contributor. So if I get access to better ingredients, I
Hmm.
don't care if it's just Coca-Cola or Pepsi, it's just having access to the same quality of ingredients at a much lower price and being able to reproduce better drinks, better supplements, better cosmetics. It's
Mm-hmm.
not the brand, it's basically the supply chain access. And since we mentioned Coca-Cola, they're one of the biggest supply chains. I'm not talking about their specific products, but when I go to towns, they are there. When I go to cities, they are there. They are everywhere. And I see them as a supply chain solution. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
applying to their full sugary products, which they get people sick. I'm just honoring that they have access to most of the population because of their supply chains and logistics.
Yeah.
That's what I meant.
Wow, those are some big questions there. Good. Okay. Mm-hmm.
So, well, that was the calculation.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the videos of the different components that the PV system would need.
Yep.
Most of them are available in Mexico, of course, and it will be just moving forward on how to start making the first pilot
Mm-hmm.
and also integrating this into an actual freeze dryer. Freeze
Yeah.
dryer could be purchased or could be built. My
Yeah.
perspective would be building one because purchasing a lot of capex.
Tell me about the is step one, two, three. Is that sequential or do they all happen at the same
Sequential.
time?
So the use of batteries, I thought what you told me about, and if we get 8 hours of sun, just working during the 8 hours would be the best approach because building the batteries, even the thermal batteries, they would take the cost of the product higher.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but tell me the step one and two and three, freeze, vacuum, sublimation. Are they in a sequence or how do they overlap? Do they happen all at the same time?
I understand process one, step one, deep freeze. It takes 4 hours. Then step two, it takes 1 hour, but it's first, then second, then third.
Uh huh. In
To keep
sequence.
quality. Yes, sequence is the answer, but I understand that's the actual process to
Okay.
keep that quality into the maximum.
Yeah. 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 That's nice. Okay. Yeah, I'm getting an education out of this. That's good. This is highly relevant. I mean, you're open sourcing uh, relevant, yeah, relevant, powerful information. I think this is. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So this is my current topic of today. Of
Mm-hmm.
course, I would need to understand what to do next since open source energy is already there. It's just basically doing following what you already showed me,
Mm-hmm.
but open sourcing the freeze dryer, which is kind of cost a lot.
How much does a freeze dryer cost for to produce um, the one you showed in a picture, for example? I mean, is that the scale you want to pilot at? No, you want to pilot at a small thing, right? Or are you going straight to the big uns?
If possible, I would like to do industrial because if we talk about food waste, and let's go just into my farms, we have an output of about 3 million kilos per season of citrus. Let's
Three
say
million of
kilograms.
3 million cans. That's what, all of Mexico?
No, no, that's my farm.
What?
We-
3 million?
Well, yeah, a hectare of citrus, that's about 312 trees. They can do 50,000 kilos. So 50,000 kilos by 60 hectares, it's 3 million kilos. So if we take that 3 million kilos and we process
Wow.
it into freeze dried powder, it would be 3 million divided by 10. It would be a total of 300,000 kilos of
Wow.
freeze dried powder. That sounds much, but if we talk industry wise,
Yeah, 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 sure. So you want to
it's
do
not
that. You want to process 3 million kilos.
at least.
How
I'm talking
much how much time does it take? What's the season duration during which you have that possibility?
in Sonora, we can harvest the fruit. It's ready from November until March. So we have 5 months.
5 months. They
But
ripen. The first ones ripen early, and the latest, or is it different varieties?
well, yeah, there are two different varieties, but that doesn't really matter much. It's just citrus. It's kind
Citrus
of
ripens, and then it keeps bearing more fruit, like keeps ripening more new.
not really. I mean, citrus grows, it flowers, and then you see what it's gonna be fruit, and then you start just nurturing with water and nutrition that fruit you already have. All the specific units you see on the tree, that's just the ones. And what I mean by ripens, you can harvest it on November, or at max, you could harvest it at March because the weather starts getting hot and the quality starts losing. But it's not that each unit is gonna keep getting more mature. You just keep it with water because there could be different conditions. One can be market, or other
What?
one could be
So
flavor.
a fruit on a tree, ripe fruit on a tree, lasts like 5 months.
Citrus,
Wow.
only citrus, which is a very
Oh,
not
that's pretty
easy.
interesting. It's like apples, they'll be like a month maybe.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and of course, if you let it more months and you put more water, the fruit tends to get bigger. It's not always good for the fresh market, but it's a risk you take.
It's bigger and less sweet, so it's same sugar but more water.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
Wow, this is exciting. Is there a big market for example, for grapefruit powder?
there is.
Why grapefruit? You said citrus. You got a lot of grapefruit?
I have more oranges than grapefruit, but grapefruit sells. It's more variable. The markets. One year can be a good price, the other year you have to leave the fruit on the tree. So I'm trying to make solutions to not depend on the
Ah,
fresh market.
and then it's always valuable.
Oranges, yes. I mean, they're easier to sell because
But
they use.
with
Sorry.
with freeze dried, grapefruit becomes always valuable. Is there a big
Oh,
market for grapefruit powders?
yes. There is enough market for powders. And other thing, it's freeze dried powder. It can last at least 3 years.
If refrigerated, it lasts about 3 years.
Well, at room temperature, I would say from 15 to 25 Celsius. Yes. So the thing that when you take out all the water, you take all the risk of creating fungus and bacteria because you don't have water.
You saying unrefrigerated, it lasts 3 years?
Yes.
What if you refrigerate it, like cooler?
Much
And
more.
and
I
that,
don't have the specific data, but much
shit,
more.
love it, love it. I would be. I'm. For me, I'm thinking immediately of sodas replacements. That's carbon dioxide. We can get that from where do we get carbon dioxide from? I don't know where. What's the easiest source of carbon dioxide? I don't know. I don't know what that is. Do you know what the easiest source of carbon dioxide is?
Mhm.
I don't.
Air? I don't know.
No, I'm once again looking at all the uh, in-house supply chains because carbon dioxide could do things like, for example, from fermentation of sugar, you get carbon dioxide out of that. Like, say you're making alcohol, you get carbon dioxide. Oh, anyway, distractions.
Well,
No, but very cool. So, okay, you define. Let's go industrial. So you're talking about stainless vessel, vacuum pumps, heaters, piece of cake. The hard part. Well, the hard part is the structure. So upon vacuum, you need a solid chamber, right? So that thing, the one you show in your picture, that's like, are the walls of that pretty thick?
not sure about the thickness measurements,
Yeah.
but I could get that in the
Ah,
presentation.
you see the rings? That's the thing. You see the rings? They keep that thing from collapsing onto itself.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah. No, this is cool stuff. That's not some heavy um, stainless steel work. And stainless steel, of course, from the open source induction furnace, we'll get it for free. And eventually, we don't have it yet. Otherwise, what is the price of that? Is that the scale that you require, or is that too small?
I would say that's not enough for the 3 million kilos, of
Hmm.
course, but that should be an output. What we're seeing there of
Are
no,
those?
that's
Do you know what's going on inside there? Is that tubes filled with like perforated tubes filled with liquid? Is that what's happening there, or what is that? What are those trays? The horizontals.
on that specific. Those trays are for putting the fruit, so they get the whole process.
Wait, they don't juice it first.
Depends on the fruit. No, what they do is they slice it first, so you get less thicker. Let's say if we
Yeah.
think about grapefruit, which is like us. bowl. You have
Right.
to slice it a little bit, so the whole process of taking out the water with this process is going to be faster. If not, you
Yeah,
will be using more electricity in hours.
because if you juice it, it's too little surface area. Yeah, right?
And if you use it too, you lose some nutrients. And what we want to keep with freeze dried is keep most of the nutrients
Ah,
from aroma. That's what I'm focusing on, freeze dried and not spray dried and other technologies that
ah,
create powder but lose the nutrients, the flavor, the aroma, and the color. You talk about replacements. If we want to take out all the colors that are harmful for humans and living beings, we can take those colors from these kind of processes. We want orange color, let's use orange. We want red color, let's use beet. And that kind of processes can be taken into account when replacing colors into food or cosmetics as well.
you're bringing that up. That those I followed the. I did not follow the logic. They use.
The
Repeat the logic.
Yeah, so the reason of using the whole fruit and of keeping the freeze dried
That I get.
process,
You retain the color, but what did you say? Retain color, flavor, and value, nutritional value. But what's the thing you said after that?
I was just making comparative about you want orange color, use orange freeze dried powder. You want red color, use beet freeze dried powder.
You're saying those are other uses of the powders?
Yeah,
Ah,
and those
they have higher
correct
value.
higher value, and that could be a solution for eliminating the chemical colors used currently into formulations.
Ah,
But it's
good
the cost.
thinking. Yeah.
It's the cost what is limiting now. But with this innovation of open source and doing the kilowatt point zero 0.01, we can
Oh
really
man,
get them lower cost, sell them lower, and including and scaling this into more healthy humans.
that's absolutely exciting, man. That is so good. Hmm.
Yeah.
This is transformation. I'm glad you're pushing me to this faster than later. Yeah, I mean, you're pushing me to do this, and this is gonna be major score because once open source, I mean, these kinds of industrial machines, man, they're gonna be expensive. What is the cost of that thing you showed me?
About at least 300,000 USD.
300,000 USD, man. Do you know how much that thing weighs in
Not,
kilograms?
not really.
Can you look that up right now or no? Because I can give you an inspiring quote from Open Source Ecology. But
Okay, if you can give me the quote, it's going to be better.
yeah, because it's only yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So the question would be, how much does a freeze dryer weigh on what specific material?
Well, yeah, for the steel in it, because it's gonna be largely a stainless steel vessel with a bunch of stainless steel trays. It's all stainless steel, pretty much. So my question is, there's pumps, there's a heater, that's near free, that's nichrome wire. There are um, so let's just analyze this real quick. Deep freeze, that's the compressor. So that's a rotating machine. Now evacuating chamber, that's also another pump. Now drying cycle, that's like free because that's heaters, and those could be as simple as nichrome wire or whatever you got. That's just resistance wire. That's like that's near zero marginal cost. You've got these two pumps that are going to be expensive pieces of equipment, once again, which we can open source, but probably we start with commercial off-the-shelf parts. But if
Yeah.
we just build the vessel, that's probably going to be a lot of the cost there. And actually, the next question you can do to prepare for your meeting with your advisor is, what are those compressors? What is the technology involved? And can you actually get a quote for those? Because we can easily say this thing weighs 1,000 kilos and let's see, and stainless steel costs only $2 per kilogram, right? So what is the weight of that thing? We can say, is that like a ton, 1, 2 tons?
what I found here in the chat is 384 pounds. That's a total weight.
How much?
384 pounds.
384.
Yes.
But for which machine? Not the one you showed in the picture, did you? That looks, the one you showed in the picture looks like on slide 3. That looks like, I mean, what? I don't know, like it's like the size of a car, like the weight of a car, right?
Yes. I lost the link, being honest, of this machinery. I just kept the image.
Yeah, I see. I'm looking at the image only. And I don't know. I mean, that looks like it weighs like a car, so anywhere between a ton to like 4 tons, something like that.
Makes more sense. Yes.
Behind it, you've got the pumps and all that. Quick search on Alibaba for, say, a vacuum pump, industrial vacuum pump. Okay, let's look at industrial vacuum pump Alibaba.
That's where I got this image.
Oh, you got that? That's where you got it? Okay. I mean, industrial vacuum pumps cost a few $1,000s. I mean, $1,000 to $15,000, let's say. You know, a few thousand. I mean, it's not going to be too bad. Okay, you got a few thousand there for, that's vacuum. For freezing, I mean, freezing is cheap. I mean, that's like your heat pumps. They're, you know, a few $1,000 or whatever. So you got $5,000 at most in a pump, 5,000 in a vacuum, cool, the freezer thing, most $5,000, 10,000 plus the weight of steel, stainless, $2 a pound, or actually it says $2 a kilo. $2 a kilo, still same thing, like $1 a pound. So if we assume that thing weighs like a couple of tons, say 4,000 pounds, $4,000 in stainless steel if you just build it yourself. So, I mean, we're talking, so you're talking about $300,000 for that one from Alibaba?
With that size, yes.
I'm sure we can get that 10x factor and go to 30,000. I mean, it's the same old, same old. You're paying 10x for the proprietary and labor and all that. If you've got, get some of your worker weld. Do you have any welders on your staff?
Yes. Yes.
Get them to do it. How much you pay them?
Per
hour?
Per hour.
Weld that thing up. Learn some TIG welding while you're at it.
Yeah, I would say the pay per month, and it's Mexico. You know, here labor is economic. It shouldn't be more than 1,000 USD per month.
Wow, that's low. Yeah, that's much lower than here. Wow. Are you going to learn to do the welding yourself too?
Yeah, that's what I want to achieve. Use electricity.
With intention of gaining the mastery in system design so you can really knock it out of the ballpark? Correct. Yeah, okay, that's my thinking. Yeah, man, we're going to do 10x on that and reduce that price by 10x. So you're going to take over the world, and I'll see you at TED. That would be really cool. And just as a note, I would be open to go and spend some days with you in your lab, so I could learn much faster when it's the right time. I know now you're very busy, but I would say that would be a faster approach to learn all of this in a few days. Yeah. No, I mean, it's interesting. I mean, it's worth my time if you applying that, and I see your thinking and actions lead me to believe that you are applying it and all that. I mean, you've got a working farm and you're talking big and you're actually implementing on this. Yeah, this is great. This would be great. I would look forward to it. And then after that, we can of course travel the world in an open source private jet. That would be really cool. Yes. Just you and me and the rest of the world. I love it. I love it. It's inspiring what we're talking about, and I'm glad you're thinking the same way. This is good.
Yeah.
Okay.
So being clear, this would be my last new thing to add,
Yeah.
and from now on, I would focus on the blueberry systems and on the freeze dryer systems. Being
Yeah.
on faster return of investment of time and money, I believe freeze dryer is much faster than the
Yeah.
blueberry systems.
And man, and I want that so bad. I mean, we've got apples here, and we could convert. Like for example, we've got this oleaster berries. They're great. They taste great, and they all
Yeah.
just stay on the trees. We don't have time or what to do with them, right?
Yes.
So, because nature is abundant, right? Then we're
Very
gonna
much.
capitalize on that abundance.
That's the approach. Do not waste anything that nature gave us already.
Yeah, exactly. Because if you've got abundance, it also relies on zero waste. That's how you get
Yes.
abundance. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I love it.
Correct.
Okay, let's quit here. I'm going to bed. I got to get up early. And no,
Okay.
this is great. Let me know
Yeah.
what turns out. So no meeting next week, or are we meet? You want to meet next week? You want to continue after
Uh,
visiting it with your advisor?
what would be the your advice into this?
Let's meet next week on Thursday
Okay, for sure.
for sure.
20, 30 minutes should be. It's working fine in my
Okay,
perspective.
sounds good.
Thank you very much, Marcin. I'll
Thank
see you
you.
soon.
See you soon. Bye bye.
Bye.